and welcome back to Rank Masters, the podcast where we review rank lists for the critics of internet lists. Hi, my name's Seth, and I'm here with...
Trace. My name is Trace.
Hi, Trace. Hi, I'm glad you're here. How are you? I feel like I haven't seen you in ages. How have you been?
He just recorded an episode.
Shh, don't spoil it. Don't share the secrets.
I'm wearing the exact same shit I was
same.
wearing
Big
that
same here,
episode.
yeah.
I didn't change shit.
I just like
I'm doing great. I mean, we're coming up on the end of 2023. What a year.
Yeah, we have this episode and then one more before the year ends, and it doesn't feel like it. It feels like this year's gone fast, you know?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's that phenomenon where every year you live feels faster than the last one, blah, 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 blah. I don't fucking care about science. But... You
don't care about science, Trace. This episode's going to be weird for you.
I fucking know. As soon as I said that, I was like, wait. I mean, we all know I like science. Whatever. Yeah. But
I mean,
no,
you're the one usually coming in with, like, Pluto lists.
Shit. All right. Well, no, you're completely right. No, I'll save my more retrospective for next episode, since that will be our end of the year episode. But
yeah,
it's been a year. It's been a crazy year.
A lot has changed. A lot has changed since the beginning of this year, and I feel like I feel like we can be proud of that, and both not just with us as people in the world, but also the world as a whole. I feel like science, cough cough, wink wink, has made a lot of big discoveries or big stories within this past year, and that's one of the things I want to look at, because we're coming up on like the retrospective times, and it's not quite the finale episode, but for penultimate, I thought, let's look at some weird science stories of 2023. So here I have an article from Cosmos titled "Top 10 Weird Science Stories of 2023."
Wow, how on the nose!
How on the nose!
It's so crazy that exists. Now, okay. Peeling back the curtains, is this one of those moments where, like, you saw the article first and you were like, okay, this would make a good episode? Or you thought in your head, oh, I hope this article exists because it'd make a great episode, and then you went searching for it?
I was searching for strange things that happened in 2023. And this was,
okay.
So not science specifically, but when I saw this, I'm like, oh shit, this is what I need to find. Because I was looking at a few different things. One of the things I was trying to think about was like, well, top 10 video games of 2023, because we just had the Game Awards relative when we're recording this. It was this past Thursday. I thought I realized, by the time that this episode comes out, it'll be like 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, well, that's a bit too far. And then I saw the science stories. I'm like, this is gonna do really well. I feel like this is a really good episode, because we are both passionate about science. We both care about stuff like this. And having read the article, I think all the stories are pretty interesting. I don't like the layout of the article. I think the article's format is weird as fuck. But
okay, shame them. Shame cosmosmagazine.com.
I am. Yeah. But this one might also be a little bit of a reader, because I'm gonna have to. There are some of these stories I was familiar with ahead of time. Some of them I wasn't. Some of them I don't really know how to explain outside of just how Joseph Milton, the writer of this, which, by the way, this article came out December 10th. We are recording this on December 10th. This article, this is new. This is fresh.
This is picked fruit right from the farm of cosmosmagazine.com.
I mean, I guess they're a content farm, yeah, technically.
No, because I said fruit right from the farm. Like, I'm not calling them a content farm.
Fair. I get what you mean. I understand now. But yeah, either way, 2023 was interesting, and I'm excited to see what happened. Are you excited to see what happened, Trace? Are you excited to start with number 10?
I'm excited to see what happened in science in the year of our Lord 2023.
Oh, I don't like that. I guess you're right. That is a quote that people say about this every single year. It does not feel right.
What, the year of our Lord?
This year in particular does not feel like our God smiled upon it.
Well, I mean, it's still the year of our Lord 2023.
Understandable.
So,
anyway, hi. Starting off, number 10 on this list. The very first story that we want to talk about by Joseph Milton. Killer whales started killing boats. You were around for this. We paid attention to this.
What, was I around for this, or was I completely checked out?
Honestly, fair.
I don't remember much of what happened around this, because, like, I remember seeing about like a lot of it on Twitter.
Sure.
And I remember people like cheering on the killer whales for destroying rich people boats. I do remember that. I don't remember like what caused it, or if we even know what caused it, or what was going on. I was checked out for some reason.
That's
Maybe
fair.
This was like a depressive month for me. I have no clue.
Well, this was May. This is May of 2023, so pretty early in the year, like around early summertime. So how are you feeling at summer?
Is May FWA month?
I think so. I think May is FWA month. So
okay,
that might
maybe
be why
I was
you
feeling
weren't
good. Maybe
you
I
were
was like
distracted.
I was distracted going up to FWA, and then after FWA, I was recovering from FWA.
Yeah, that's
FWA is like my go crazy convention. So.
Hell yeah! I mean, we love the go crazy conventions. I'm glad you got to have that.
Actually, no, FWA was my chased con this year.
Yeah, but you still went crazy.
I still went crazy with the substances.
Yeah. Anywho.
Anyway.
Yeah, the article says that in May, a series of orchestrated. That well played, Joseph. Good. I appreciate that. It says, orchestrated attacks on boats by a group of at least 15 killer whales in Spain hit the headlines. In total, there were 18 attacks off Spain's southern coast in that 1 month, including the first instance of orcas chasing a boat after destroying its rudder in a sustained attack that sent the boat spinning and left it sinking. However, one thing to note, it says that orca attacks on boats have been occurring for years, but this is just a very strange occurrence where it happened like a lot in this 1 year, but no one really knows why. They didn't quite scientifically figure out what was going on there. They say one theory is that female orca called White Gladys was badly injured by a rudder and sought revenge, so the rest of her specific pod was taught to attack and sink boats. But alternatively, it's just that they could have been playing, and that the game is just very dangerous for people.
That was very good.
Yeah,
you didn't read word for word, and like you actually like added in some self-comment. That's very good.
There were some parts where I was quoting the article. I actually skipped around a little bit from within the paragraph, but like
no, I'm saying that it's like that's what they teach you to do on the radio. You did very good. Like that's radio quality reading. Like it was very good.
I do have experience plagiarizing things.
Oh my god! Watch out, H Bomber guy's gonna make a video about you.
I mean, you know what? We're very aware that all the content's on this channel is stolen, but we're riffing on it.
Well, okay, it's not stolen content.
It's stolen
we're transforming it.
Exactly. Oh man.
Yeah.
By the way, have you seen that video? Have you seen the H Bomber guy video yet?
Oh yeah, I watched through all of it.
Okay,
yeah.
I the night I recorded it, I watched it the day it dropped. And that very night, because I, as a YouTuber who, like, I recorded a whole voice memo that I want to send to you, and I want to hear your thoughts on it, because I was frustrated that night. I feel like that emotionally impacted me significantly more than a lot of other people. Not that the video exists. I feel like it's a good thing that video exists, but like the realization that clicked in me. But that's something I'll send you privately, because I don't want to. I've already talked about that.
Yeah, well, because the night that it dropped, like you sent me a message.
I sent you a message saying, "Hey, let me know when you watch this, because I want to talk to someone who will understand."
Well, because I was at MFF when it dropped.
Which
there's this. I don't know if you've seen like the weird little comic thing that someone made that was like a bunch of people like doing stuff in their hotel room, and then one of them's like, "Hey, new H Bomber guy video." So then they all stop and then they're like watching the video. Like Jesus, I couldn't imagine watching a 4-hour video essay at a convention. Like that is too much time.
Yeah, that's like something you save for the flight back home. If you flew, or if you drove, then you listen to it.
That's definitely if you drove, listen to that on the way back. Like,
don't watch it. Obviously, do not take your eyes off the road. But I feel like there were enough things in the video that would justify watching it. We're talking about killer whales.
Well, did I tell you about what happened on my flight there?
No, you did not.
Okay, so on my flight to MFF, I had a connecting flight in Denver. Okay. So, weird that I went pew, pew.
I mean, you just go to big city. I get it.
Go to the nearest big city that's flying out. So I go to Denver, and first of all, there are so many furries in this fucking
no surprise.
airport.
No surprise.
Because, like, so many furries in Denver and so many of them going to MFF. There were so many in this airport. And there was, like, at least a solid, like, an underestimated count is, like, at least a third of the people on my flight were furries.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And at least half of those third had fursuits that were with them. Like,
wait, were they wearing it or just carrying it with them?
No, like they had their fursuit head being carried with them.
That's their carry-on. That's their chosen carry-on. Holy shit.
Crazy. So I'm getting, like, we all get onto this plane, and we're sitting there, and, like, it's about 30 minutes now after we're supposed to take off. So we're like, okay, something's up. And finally, the person, like, the pilot, I said the person who flies the plane, there's a word for that, the pilot, was like, yeah, our plane is leaking. So
what?
we think if we can just tighten up some bolts, it'll fix it. We're going to check that real quick. If it doesn't work, we'll tell you where to go from there. So then we wait on the plane a little bit longer. We're like, do. And then he finally comes on. He's like, yeah, it's not working. We're going to have to get off this plane.
Holy shit. Oh,
we
no.
deboard the plane. And we deboard the plane, and now we're like, okay, now what? So then the little guy at the desk gets on the intercom, and he's like, well, he was a kind of a small little guy, but he's like, all right, so we have to figure out if we're going to wait the 3 hours for maintenance to get here and fix this plane, and you guys will get this plane again, or we're going to move you to get you on a completely different plane. We got to wait to figure out what's going to happen there.
Sure, makes sense.
So then we wait a little bit longer, and finally he's like, okay, we're going to move 3 gates that way. We've got a different plane
far.
For you.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, he's like, we're going to move 3 gates that way. We've got a different plane for you all ready to go. Let's move over there, and we can start loading you up on that plane.
Nice. Hell yeah.
So we get onto that plane. And we're like, okay, it's all good. Everything looks fine. This plane isn't leaking.
What does that mean? Was it gas that's leaking? Like, what the fuck was leaking?
I think he said oil. There was like oil leaking or something.
Oh my god. Oh, that's terrifying, actually.
Yeah.
I'm glad they noticed it. Holy
yeah,
shit.
I'm glad they noticed so that it was in the air and we caught fucking fire.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, we get on this plane. They get out on the tarmac. They're like, we're out in the middle of nowhere on the fucking tarmac. And then he's like, so sorry, y'all. We're going to have to wait a little bit longer.
No!
Because all runways are shut down right now because President Joe Biden has landed at the airport.
Oh my fucking god.
We have to wait for his security detail to come pick him up before we can take off.
They just really wanted to prevent MFF this year, huh? Goddamn.
No, but I mean, the little guy at the desk did say, like, he got on the plane. He was like, "Thank you so much for bearing with us. We know this is frustrating. And to all my friends going to MFF, I hope you have a great time.
Aww.
Wish I could go with you."
Aww.
So it was like very cute. Like, they were all very nice. And honestly, I think every furry there was very, like, understanding and supportive of the flight staff. And so it was like all good.
Every furry has had a customer service job. We understand how that works.
Well, not every furry. I've met some bad ones.
Okay, most furries have had a customer service job. And
yeah, it's like
how that works.
there's some bad furries out there that are still
That's
little.
true.
Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry to hijack your story. Okay,
No, it's
orcas.
okay. I mean, I don't really have much else to say about orcas. I mean, we don't know why that happened, but it happened, and that was fucking weird.
What's next?
Next up on the list, and I like the headline for this part. It says, "Not tonight, dear. I'm dead. Female frogs pretend they'd croaked to avoid amphibious armoire."
Honestly, I get it, girls. I get it.
It's literally
sometimes
the whole part of it is just these frogs are pretending to be dead to not be horned over. And fair, I get it.
That's the whole thing. Like, that's it. Like, do they know why they were doing it? Like,
they found out that this is a pretty common thing, actually. This is not just like a 1-year thing. This is something that certain species of frogs do. I don't know why it's in the 2023 news cycle, but apparently they had some pretty big news. Maybe it was a new research article. But it does note that this says this leads to the frog's mating style is explosive, which means males have a short window in which to sire tadpoles. This leads to a frantic scramble for females, which can end in mating balls covered in so many males it kills them. So they pretend to die so that they don't get killed by sex.
I get it. Girls, I was just at MFF. I get it. I was in a room with a bunch of vor girlies. I get it.
Yeah.
Like, you can imagine.
Mm-hmm. I can imagine. Good lord. I like the last line here. It says that the fake dying is only one of their techniques. Another involves spinning around to send unwanted males flying. I like that idea.
Also true. Like if you're ever out in the lobby and someone comes up to you that you just like don't like, just spin furiously.
Yeah, just whack him with your tail.
Yeah, exactly. Just spin furiously and angrily. Like
it works.
You gotta
it's
get
effective.
those boys off you. Though there is something endearing about a man that's just so into you that he's begging. Like, I don't know.
It's kind of endearing, but there's a level where it goes too far. You know?
There is a level where it goes too far.
There's a level where it goes too far.
You know?
You know? I know.
You know?
You know? Do you know, Trace?
You know.
I understand.
You know.
Man, I just thought that was really funny. And I'm like, talking about MFF literally leads right into it. I fucking love it. All right. So next, do we want me to move on to next part of this article? Okay, number 8? No, 8. Yeah, because we're going. It's not actually numbered. It's the top 10. But I don't know if we go like 1 to 10 or 10 to 1. But I think this is number 8. This one says that magpies and crows turned the bird tables on us with nests made of anti-bird spikes. Specifically in Europe, it's talking about the Netherlands in particular. They've been putting out anti-bird spikes because magpies are chaotic. You know, they're
poop.
Great. I mean, yes, you're right. They do in fact poop. They're also smart enough to steal jewelry. So fun fact, magpies do that.
I mean, that's fun. Who hasn't stolen a little jewelry in their day? Like,
you're right.
Who hasn't, like, it's like Anthony Padilla. I just want to, like, have you watched
Smosh?
Yeah, have you watched Disney's Robin Hood, the furry one?
The furry one, yes.
You know when, like, Robin Hood is, like, kissing Lil Jon's fingers and is, like, taking the rings? Like, yes. I want to do that to Anthony Padilla.
What? Why Anthony Padilla?
That man wears so many goddamn rings!
I did not know that. I have not seen him in ages.
I just, like, put his little, like, and then, oh, that's 1 ring, 2 rings. I feel like I could do it.
Yeah, he does. He wears a lot of rings.
Oh, did you look up Anthony Padilla and all of his rings?
It's been a while since I've seen him. Last time I actively consumed his content was back when he was on, like, the original Smosh. Like, I know he's back at Smosh now. But, like, I haven't seen him since the first Smosh team dissolved. So I'm like, I did not know his style progressed to have that many rings. That would be interesting.
It's like, I just feel like it would be easy, you know?
Anyway,
and I feel like he would like understand why someone wants to kiss his hand. I feel like he's got that vibe. Yeah. Every single one a ring. Okay.
Anywho, yeah, that's exactly what the magpies have been doing. They've been snatching rings off people's fingers by, deep throating their entire finger, taking the ring off.
You're not gonna deep throat the finger. You just gotta suck hard enough that it pulls the ring off as you move away.
Anywho, yeah, apparently people in Europe got a little pissed about that, and they started putting anti-bird spikes up everywhere. And then Dutch researchers realized, hey, they're making nests out of the spikes. There were 2 nests in the Netherlands that were made entirely out of spike strips. And they started looking for other examples after noticing those 2. They've had a lot of other examples, which I think, like, even outside of the Netherlands, which I think is fascinating to me.
That's just praxis.
They're just straight up ripping them out off of buildings. I'm like, hell yeah. And now I'm thinking about, like, what the human equivalent of that is. We take, like, the anti-homeless benches and just rip off, like, just saw off the things and use those to build a new bench. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would fucking rule.
Yeah, that's what we need to do.
That's what we need to do. This is praxis.
We need to take the anti-houseless, like, infrastructure, destroy it, and make houses.
Exactly. 100%. I honestly, super effective. That might work.
Super effective. Yeah.
Because anti-houseless, like, structures are so variable in how they can be made. And, like, I feel like there's enough different types and different materials and different sizes that, like, you could make something out of it.
We could make some type of shelter. We could make something. We could make a little nest.
Oh, Trace, please do not start demeaning homeless people and putting them in bird nests.
Okay. Were you ever, like, a kid and you, like, had this strange desire to, like, make a nest?
Yeah.
It's human. We all want to make a nest.
It is human. That does not protect you from the rain.
So, like, I'm just saying, we all want to make a nest. We all want to make a little nest.
You're absolutely right. 100%. All right, moving on. Number 7 on the list. You asked previously how Taylor Swift would tie into this list. because we teased in the previous video that there was a Taylor Swift article, or Taylor Swift mention on this article. We're ready for it, are you?
I'm ready. Give it to me.
Taylor Swift fans shook it off so much they caused a 2.3 magnitude earthquake.
Honestly, icon.
Yeah. She says it was done. They said it was done in Seattle, and it was just the dancing was so energetic and enthusiastic that it caused an earthquake, according to legitimate seismologists. They say, okay, hold on. They say it. What is happening here? The last time something like this had happened was back with Marshawn Beast Mode Lynch in 2011. Interesting comparison to call it the Beastquake. I like that. That's funny.
I'm sorry. Is that what they said? The Beastquake?
That was the 2011 one that they compared it to.
The Beastquake.
The Beastquake.
When Marshawn Lynch had a touchdown in 2011. Okay.
Yeah. I just think that's so funny that they like the only comparison we have for human caused, like, not even like interfering with the earth, but just dancing or like energetic movements causing an earthquake is like, yeah, football.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Like, Americans fucking love football. Anyway,
that they do. They pop off hard for football. It's crazy.
So shout out Taylor Swift. As we know, she's a big fan of the podcast. Mm-hmm. She listens to every episode. She texts me. Yeah, she texts me like after each episode, and she's like, "Oh my god, this is a good one, boys. Love you. XOXO." So like, I was really sad that I didn't get to go to the Eras tour, but also that's so many people. That
is a lot of people. Yeah, they said that so shortly after the Seattle earthquake happened, they were looking out to see where her like the next big situation would be on the Eras tour. And they said in Denver, 70,000 Swifties were there at the concert, and they could see it from space. They could see it from satellite imagery. And I'm like, holy shit. God damn, Taylor Swift's popular.
What era are you in?
Me?
Yeah, what era are you?
I've literally never listened to Taylor Swift in my life.
I've
overheard some of their songs, but I have not listened to her.
I think I used to be in my Reputation era, but now I'm in my Lovers era.
Okay, not gonna
shout out the Swifties.
I'm like, I feel like I know what this is meaning. I'm not 100% sure, but I get it.
No, it's the vibes of the album.
It's the vibes of the album. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Number 6, I think. I don't know numbers.
Whatever number we're on.
Whatever number we're on. Trace, have you ever done mushrooms?
No, never. Though when I was at FWA.
Go ahead.
My roommates made mushy lemonade, which is just lemonade with a bunch of mushrooms in it.
Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. I get it.
The psychedelic mushrooms. And I almost decided to do it, but then I was like, at a furry convention, I don't think that's I'm a little overwhelmed socially anyway. I don't think I need that. So
I know one of my friends recently, they did magic shrooms at MFF, and that was their first time trying shrooms. But also she goes hard. she knowing her, I'm like, this does not seem that far-fetched for what she likes.
It doesn't seem that out of character.
No, it does not. But yeah, so the article for this one, it says magic mushrooms opened a woman's blind mind's eye.
What does that mean?
Well, I'll explain it, Trace. Give me a fucking minute. You've heard of aphantasia, right? It's the thing where you like if you tell someone to picture something, you won't be able to like actually picture it in their head.
Yeah.
Like, if you think apple,
like a loser,
you can't see an apple. Like me.
Wait, you can't see an apple?
No, like when I understand the concept behind what this is. When I close my eyes and I try to like picture something, when I try to imagine something, I can't. That is not a thing I do. I can think of the thing. I can acknowledge the qualities of a thing exists. I know what apples look like, but I can't picture it in my head.
Well, if you know what apples look like, then I feel like you have a little bit.
I can pull up a memory, but I cannot imagine an apple. I cannot imagine. If someone tells me to picture something, I cannot picture a prototypical version of it. I can add old memories. I can think of something that I've seen like in the past, and I know those memories are like distorted and whatnot, but like I cannot. and I think this is common. Like it's not a very uncommon disorder. It's like around 3 in every 100 people, so it's not that uncommon. But this article details how someone, a 34-year-old aphantasic autistic woman, after doing magic mushrooms for the first time, was able to picture things in her head now. It unlocked that ability. That's interesting to me.
That's very interesting to me. I feel like aphantasia means like you can't picture anything at all. Like you can't even recall like the picture of a memory.
I mean, maybe that is what it is. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what aphantasia actually is. But I know, for me personally speaking, I feel like part of me wonders how much of this contributes to the fact that I can't dream. Like I rarely ever. The only times I've ever dreamed are when I'm on like allergy medicines, or like other miscellaneous drugs that
and as we know, allergy medicines are so close to magic mushrooms.
Yeah, clearly they're basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, no, when I say allergy medicine, I mean not FDA approved stuff that my mom gives me. So who knows how close they are to magic mushrooms?
So, and like, not to discredit your experience, I'm like, I perfectly believe you. I think that's a version of aphantasia. Like, you're absolutely correct.
It's not the common version people think of. You know, I understand that.
I think I'm trying to position in my mind where this woman is and how affected she was. Which, I mean, it's amazing. I think it's cool.
Yeah. Hello. Oh, you got distracted. What's going on? Is everything okay?
Oh yeah. The woman said aphantasia made it hard for her to remember her way around, but just from her trip tests showed her internal universe blossomed into technicolor from no visual imagery at all.
Interesting. So the most detailed and intense visual imagination possible. I do agree that. And it does note in the next line that it gets muted over time, but she does still have visual imagination. I think that's the big word there, is imagination, though. Like, if you told me to imagine something,
you're right.
I cannot imagine it, you know? I think you're right. Like, and one of the interesting things, I don't know if other people do this, when I like revisit my memories of like me experiencing something, I revisit them in the third person. Like, do you do that?
That's weird.
I don't know.
That's weird.
I've talked to people about that, and they're like, I mean, it's a little strange, but I don't know what to tell you.
I was like, I don't know. And I think I pride myself in being able to imagine things in very vivid detail. So like, well, like, okay, this is something else that I have to explain to people, as like, I can't smell, as we talked about in the previous episode of this podcast, but I can remember the way things smell.
Yes.
And then that triggers almost the exact same response to where I almost can smell it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. So like, you know, I think about mothballs, which is a very strong, unpleasant scent.
True.
Like, I think about them. Obviously, I'm not smelling them, but for some reason, that sensation of smelling mothballs is still there.
Memory is strong. Memory is extremely strong when it comes down to your senses. Like, I have the same thing with touch. Like, if I look at something, I know exactly how it feels. And it, like, even just looking at it gives me the ick if it's one of those things that, I don't like how it feels. And that's pretty
And that's one of those things, someone will, like, oh, you should smell this? Mm-hmm. And, like, I will smell it, and then my brain will sometimes trigger, like, oh, this is what this should smell like. And I'll remember, like, something. Like, because sometimes, like, someone will put a peppermint candle in my face, and I'll be like, oh, yeah. And, like, my brain will trigger whatever candle it can bring up in my memory. Like, oh, it smells like cinnamon apples. And it's very weird. So maybe someone should study that shit. I don't know. 2024 list. Put me on it, science.
That's wild. Anyway, speaking of things that are wild, shall we move on to the next one? I feel like we're making good pace. We're only about like 30 minutes in.
I just read the next one. Please, let's talk about it. Because I feel like I'm an expert in the next area.
Really?
Yep, I feel like I'm an expert.
Do you want to read it? You're welcome to take it if you're next. Okay, fine. The next one on this list, Aussie doctors pulled a wriggling 8-centimeter worm from a woman's brain.
Oh, whoops, sorry. I skipped this one to the next one.
What? I was wondering, how the fuck are you an expert on this one, Trace?
No, okay, sorry. I just saw a TikTok that was like, y'all remember Venom?
Yes.
And it was like, and everyone's like, oh, he's in love with Venom. He's in love with Venom. And then the guy was like, I feel like that's how I would be with a tapeworm.
Why? Trace, why?
I fell in love with the tapeworm in my gut. Anyway, no. The next one I'm an expert on. So put a little pin in that. Listener.
Just looking at the headline.
Next one, I'm an expert.
I see the next one. I know why you're an expert on that now.
Okay. Now tell me about brainworms.
Yeah, it says in August, doctors they revealed they removed an 8-centimeter roundworm, live and wriggling, from the brain of a 64-year-old Australian woman. They said that she most likely picked up the carpet python parasite. Carpet python parasite. What the fuck? Okay.
Also, but carpet pythons are actually pretty cool.
I know, but like, in your brain?
Well, the carpet python isn't in the brain.
This one was.
Well, no, a carpet python is a type of snake.
Yes, I know. This snake was in her brain.
No, this snake was not in her brain. The roundworm that is typically found in carpet pythons was found in her brain.
Oh!
That's what that's saying.
Okay, so it's a parasite that's normally in snakes.
In carpet pythons, yes.
And this one just happened to be in a woman.
In her brain.
I misunderstood. Because worms and snakes are very, conceptually similar. Yes.
Yeah. Why don't we call snakes worms?
Because they are.
Explain to that, scientists.
Yeah. Apparently, she got the worm. She got the parasite while hunting for a native plant, and she just got accidental contact with the snake's poo. Don't know how that got to her brain, but you know what? I'm glad they at least took care of it. Yeah, it says that surgeons pulled the rapidly wriggling worm from the woman's brain, hastily transferring it to a pot and thwarting its reported attempts to escape. Which I think that's really funny, that like you pull a worm out of someone's brain and it's like, I want to get back in there. Get me back in the brain. Let me out of this fucking pot.
God, a roundworm in your brain. Like, was that like, that had to have been messing with some stuff, right?
Oh yeah, it says that she reported gut pain and diarrhea. She got a fever, a cough, shortness of breath. But everyone just thought it wasn't like no one thought it would be a parasite for those symptoms. People just thought, oh yeah, she's just got like a fever or something like that. No.
No, she has brainworms.
She's
the thing that people on Twitter accuse you of having when you
true.
Say something dumb. So
you're right. But I do like the last line.
Worms.
I like the last line saying that doctors say the woman is recovering well and her progress is still being regularly monitored. So I'm glad that she's okay.
What about the worm?
Worm probably.
Is the worm okay?
Worm probably died in that jar. Anyway.
Anyway, now it's time for my area of expertise.
Yeah, Trey, speaking of worms, what's your area of expertise?
No. Please read it out loud. What do I say is my area of expertise?
I'm tempted. So they have actually two articles linked for this next section. One is the headline, and then one is the headline for a different article, and both of them are kind of funny. But I like the first one. It says men's junk measurements were junk science. The second one says Cosmos Archive, penis size does matter to women.
Yep. Okay.
So Trace, what's your expertise about this? What was your understanding of the scientific discovery?
Penis.
Okay,
now read. I want to read.
Okay. If your male partner's prone to exaggerating the size of that fish that just got away, it may not be the only thing they're embellishing. April saw the release of perhaps unsurprisingly of a perhaps unsurprising study. Wow, words are hard today. Of 191 Danish men, which found blokes lie about their schlong size, even if they're being paid to take part in research. Which begs the question.
That's so true, girlies.
Which begs the question.
Yeah.
Why would they ask them the size and then measure it? Like, that's got to be awkward. My dick shrinks when someone else is looking at it.
Wait, can we unpack that statement?
No.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
I mean,
Is it like Schrodinger's schlong or what? Like,
look, if you look at the picture, it's enormous, but if you look at it in person, it's fucking tiny.
I mean,
you know how it is. That's just how
the Twitter girlies be. The Twitter girlies get a little creative with their angles when they're taking the photos.
Oh God, I don't.
And then right? But then in person, it's not going to look as big. Like, you know,
True.
I have handled some meat in person. God, I hope your mom doesn't listen to this episode.
I mean, we found out recently that she listens to this podcast.
I know, and it's like
tread carefully, Trace.
You know, as we said in the last episode, I know my meat, and
yeah,
that includes this. And like, you know, these like absurd sizes when you get them in the palm. This is gonna be a rough episode. They feel less than what you would expect.
Sometimes. I don't know. There's a few times where like people kind of discount their own schlong. You know? Like
no,
especially
I've
bottoms.
seen the people that
Why do bottoms have big dicks?
I don't know.
That's unfair. That's not allowed.
Well, I mean,
what?
I don't want to say it.
Say it. I'm kidding. You don't have to. Are you talking about reaching
leverage?
Around? Yep.
No, leverage. Like
you using their dick like a handle?
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Anywho. But yeah, they talk, which I think this is interesting psychology. Because, like, if you're getting paid to be honest about your penis size and you're still lying, it's interesting. It's interesting to me. And I feel like people will take pride in their size more than money. I don't know how to feel about that. I do like the one line that says, after discounting one man who claimed to have a 295-foot phallus, because, yep, there's got to be outliers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Also, one question I have about how people measure, I kind of want to reach out to this study and find out how people measure dick sizes.
Do they measure from the base of the balls? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, that's the thing. Like, do you measure from the base of the balls? Do you measure the outside of the curve if yours curves? Do you measure just from the center line? There's a lot of things that you could measure for this.
The science of dick measuring is very new.
Yeah.
It's unstandardized by science. Because, like, I'm going to say it. If you measure the top of the dick versus measuring on the bottom of the dick, you're going to get two different lengths.
That is exactly true. That is absolutely correct.
Also, like, if someone has a little bit of a fupa.
Fupa, we love fupa.
Do you push it back or do you just leave it?
Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? Chris Christie's fupa.
Chris Christie's fupa.
It's disgusting.
Yep.
Yeah, Chris Christie's fupa needs to be studied by science.
I do also wonder how much, like, okay, so you know the whole growers versus showers thing, right?
Yeah,
you know how a lot of men are growers. How would you get accurate size measurements of the growers? Because, like, if their penises change.
Sorry, go ahead.
I can't imagine scientists jerking off 191 Danish men.
Did you see the video on Twitter that's like the new sperm collectors that are like, I think in Japan?
Yes, actually. That wasn't just on Twitter. I've seen that a few places.
Okay. Well, someone quote retweeted that and was like, these are going to go crazy at the fursuit party. Don't point at things. No, like these were like big machines. Like they looked like... Have you ever like walked up to have you ever parked in a parking garage and they have like a kiosk?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, continue.
But they have like a kiosk, you know, and it like comes up to maybe like mid belly height, and you have to insert your card and it'll spit out a little ticket, like you know those things.
It's something like that, but it sucks your dick.
You put it
yeah, it's like the Rutari animation. I know.
Yeah, and also the article that I read said it simulates the heat, wetness, and light of a vagina. And I was like, what do you mean the light of a vagina?
Oh my god, all women have RGB LEDs in their pussy.
And also would that affect pleasure at all?
Yes, actually, I think it would. Because
really?
light does have an impact on muscle stimulation. I mean, that's last episode. We saw those masks, those LED masks. I don't think that.
But those are a scam.
Those are a scam. Get me an LED flashlight. I want to find out.
An LED
this is for science.
I want to know. This is for important research. We need to know.
When the fuck is Lovense coming with the RGB?
The RGB.
The RGB.
Yeah. Hey, Levins, like when you come out with that, sponsor us. We'll give a review live on air.
Fun fact, one of my friends is actually sponsored by Levents.
Well, I've had a few of those like Amazon drop shippers of toys reach out to me on certain accounts, and no I've never taken it.
I mean, like her specifically, like it's a permanent like affiliation with her. Like she'll get a cut of every sale that someone makes on Levents, and like it's Levents.
I just saw a furry porn creator say they have a discount code with Fortnite. So it's getting a little competitive out here.
Wait, that's not uncommon because you can make anything in Fortnite, and if you make something, you get a creator code, which means that you can just, as long as you make literally anything in Fortnite, and if people buy something in Fortnite and they use your code, you get a cut.
Interesting.
And now that Lego, which, hey, speaking of, Lego Fortnite exists, that's just Minecraft. That's not even Fortnite, it's Minecraft.
That is Minecraft. Did you see the one of like the Twin Towers? Someone recreated the Twin Towers in Lego Fortnite.
You're mistaking that. That's Tears of the Kingdom.
No, that also happened in Tears of the Kingdom. But like they made the Twin Towers in Lego Fortnite, and then they shot them down.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, of course they had to.
I fell out of Fortnite at the start of, I think, this season. I don't know the chapter. I don't know what the differences there are. Whatever the long period of time, like when the world got destroyed and rebuilt. But then now I'm tempted to re-download Fortnite just for the Lego Fortnite, because I've never grown invested in Minecraft because I know too much about it. I feel like going into Lego Fortnite where I don't know jack shit, it would reactivate that kind of exploration thing, you know?
So I was at MFF, and I was hanging out with a group of friends that are in Boston. And apparently they play Fortnite, and they all play with the Ariana Grande skin.
Of course.
And they all apparently talk like her, and then when they like win, they'll be like, "All right, everyone, team up," and then like, "All right, Ariana Grande, 1, 2, 3, yeah." Like,
I love that. I love that so much.
So good. I'm like, what? Because they did that in person. They're like, "Okay, everyone, Ariana Grande, 1, 2, 3, yeah." And I'm just like, what the fuck happened? So they had to explain to me all of this lore that they've created from playing Fortnite together. Also, did you see the furry that created one of the new loading screens in Fortnite?
No. Hello. I did not know about that.
Squiddy, what's his Twitter at? Big Squid Man or something like that. Big_squid_man. One of my favorite Twitter artists, actually.
Big man.
but they just dropped a new hot tiger dilf.
Oh yes.
Yes. And so like one of his new loading screens was actually drawn by a furry, which is really cool.
Interesting. Okay, that's pretty. That is neat. I appreciate that. That's always nice.
Yeah.
I like when furries are getting involved in things and like people acknowledge it. Like
me too.
Also,
that tiger,
Pete, hot.
Good stuff.
Fortnite knows what they're doing. They've had quite a few furries throughout the time. But anyway, shall we move on? I feel like we've been stuck on the Willy Wang one.
I mean, us two. It had to happen. All right,
it had to happen. That's the one. All right, next one. Speaking of people with prolific sex history. We have an article about Genghis Khan.
So good.
Genghis Khan was a misunderstood climate change hero.
What does that mean? You have to explain this to me.
Okay.
Please.
I want to read this one word for word. As today's world leaders meet at COP28 in Dubai to discuss climate change, there's one historical world leader who successfully cooled the planet by cutting atmospheric carbon we'd probably rather they didn't emulate. Genghis Khan. In November, we learned that Khan, not generally thought of as a climate hero, killed so many people during the Mongol invasion of Asia during the 13th century that he single-handedly caused a dip in atmospheric carbon of around 0.183 parts per million. Apparently killing people is climate change activism.
I mean, it is. We have a list of the 100 people who caused the most climate change, and I'm pretty sure if they were to be offed somehow, it would change a lot.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, apparently...
Taylor Swift, I'm looking at you, Queen. I love you, but I love the planet more.
Is she responsible for...
No, she just has a private jet that like does a bunch of emissions.
Oh, I see. I understand.
She got in trouble like earlier this year or like early this year or late last year, where people found that like her private jet is the most emissions like out of any plane in the United States or something like that.
Wild.
And so they're like, queen, our carbon emitting queen.
Holy
like,
shit.
So I'm just saying, Taylor Swift, if you don't cut it out, like
you might be next on Khan's chopping block.
Yeah, all those trips to see Travis Kelce, like just
right.
move in with him. Oh my god.
Yeah, I like the aspect here where it says like, yes, Genghis Khan, their army slaughtered about 35 million people who would have otherwise been clearing forests. So they specifically killed 35 million lumberers, leading to the regrowth of about 142,000 square kilometers of trees, which sucked up a ton of carbon, which means that climate change went in the good direction. We said, fuck carbon.
Other mass deaths that occurred during these dips include the Black Death in Europe, the conquest of the Americas, and the fall of the Ming Dynasty in China, but they identified Khan's invasion of Asia as the only one large enough to affect atmospheric carbon globally.
Yeah, I do think the other ones that were like the other mass deaths happening around that same time, they clearly wiped out a lot of people, but they weren't exactly like lumber people specifically.
Yeah.
The Genghis Khan one, the 35 million lumberers, is fascinating to me.
Well, like, it didn't during this time, like, a whole third of the Earth's population die? Like, I feel like...
Yeah, 13th century was brutal.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like there was a lot of death during this time.
Yeah.
So...
And you know what? If that's what we gotta do to save the planet.
You know what? I'll do it. Like...
I personally will do it.
I personally... Next Khan. Well, oh. I thought you were saying you would, like... You would sacrifice yourself for the greater good.
Oh, God,
I was
no.
like, I'm right there with you, Queen. I'll do it. I'll be the one.
I feel like my value is more important than the planet. Call me a narcissist, but I personally speaking am more important than the planet Earth. You know.
Wow, you and Elon Musk both.
Yeah. What about it? Here, I'm on my evil era.
You're on your evil era?
I'm on my
that's it! You're on your reputation era!
Oh my god.
Oh my god, we discovered it! We know what Seth's era is.
Anywho, moving on, shall we continue? We have two more.
There's
this one and then the last one. I didn't fully read this one the first time, and I am a little worried now because we might have to revisit a topic that we'd already talked about, Trace.
That's all right. I'm good going back.
The headline for this section says, Houston, we have a problem keeping it up. Did not refer to the spacecraft.
Good. Let's go.
As if astronauts didn't have enough to worry about dodging space junk and deadly radiation, in November, male spacefarers were warned about a potential new threat. Failure to launch below the asteroid belt, otherwise known as erectile dysfunction. Apparently, going to space makes changes to your sexual health.
Going to space changes you like crazy.
Like, absolutely.
When I had my little space kick and we did that space episode, I was learning like what happens when you're in space.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned about like during like one of the major hurdles they have to get through for a Mars flight is like when they land on Mars, there will be enough of an atmospheric pressure change from space to the surface of Mars that like they have to figure out how they can rehabilitate themselves, because normally when someone lands on Earth, they can't even walk. Like they have to be drug out of the spaceship by a team of people and carried all the way back.
That can't happen on Mars because there's no one up there to help them.
Yeah. Who are we going to call? The Martians? And be like, hey,
can you help us?
Luckily, Mars doesn't have as much as an atmospheric pressure change as Earth would from going from space to Earth.
It's still it's brutal.
Lesser, but it's still going to affect the astronauts enough that they're worried about what they're going to be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's crazy. And one of them is they're not going to be fucking on Mars because the blood flow is weird.
Yeah, that's true. But I will note the atmosphere has nothing to do with this. It's not a problem with that. I like to see the way that they tested this, because they say researchers at a specialized NASA facility exposed male rats to a stimulation of low gravity by hoisting their legs up at a 30-degree angle for 4 weeks, while bombarding them with different levels of cosmic radiation. They found higher radiation levels damaged and narrowed the blood vessels around the rats' pocket rockets.
That's so funny.
Whoever's writing
feed
this
them yogurt.
What?
Because Because did you not see like the study that was like,
Oh, rats get
yogurt?
horny for yogurt?
No, like mice get bigger testicles when they eat yogurt.
No, I did not see that. Interesting.
And then it was like rats who eat yogurt are seen as more attractive by other rats. Or like it was some like 2 different studies that came out about like rodents eating yogurt and their sexual health, and it was very funny.
Interesting.
No, I get that. And like radiation is another huge hurdle they have to get through because they would experience solar radiation at a greater degree on Mars than they do on Earth because one, Mars has a lesser atmosphere.
So it's not going to protect them.
Like, yeah. So anyway, so their plan is to just dig and make an underground bunker to protect them from the radiation.
That's true. I mean, if it works, it works. You know, who says we need to be on the surface?
So you are telling me all of those 0G furry porn comics that I have read are lying to me?
I feel like furries are built different, though. You know, that bone's got a bone.
Yeah, there's like a piece of art and they're ironing a shirt and it's boing. Like, we get it. Everything. It's a constant.
It's a constant. I do like this. This article specifically links to a like massive journal publication called Sex in Space, consideration of uncontrolled human conception in emerging space tourism. This is a legitimate scientific like article posted by 9 different scientists are listed as the co-authors on this, talking about space tourists getting it on like Donkey Kong and in the in the not the Mile High Club. The article says the 1,000 Mile Club, but I feel like there's a better joke that could be made. Yeah. I don't know what it is.
But like I think, you know, sex tourism is like a big industry. Like,
oh, absolutely.
People went to fucking strange places.
Yeah.
Like, go to Japan. But
get milked.
You're gonna call Jordan Peterson, we're getting milked. So like
Anywho,
you're gonna be hard pressed to stop people. But I feel like, wasn't there something like they tried to get all astronauts to be women in the beginning because they were worried about that? Because they thought men would be too sexual because it was like a little sexist.
I mean, men are absurdly horny. This is true.
You talk a little bit. I'm gonna research.
I'm talking a little bit. I don't know really what to talk about. I don't think I've ever heard of them saying that like they wanted to do women specifically because men are horny. I can see that happening though, because again, men are horny.
This is Mars mission may be all female to avoid astronauts having sex during 1.5-year journey. Because I remember people quote retweeting that and being like, lesbians exist, and also women can still fuck each other.
That's true. I think if that is the case, I think the purpose of it is to avoid accidental procreation, as opposed to just having sex.
Then why not all men?
That's also a good point. Men, let men fuck each other on a flight to Mars.
Yeah, but apparently they can't get it up. Which also, here's my disclaimer: you can still have great sex without anyone getting hard. It's
absolutely, fine. Yeah.
Don't worry about it, men. I still love you.
Yeah.
I've had some fantastic times with men who, you know, are a little bit more challenged in that area. Like, we all get performance anxiety. I do too, trust me. It's fine. You can still have a good time. Don't worry.
I've never gotten performance anxiety. I'm a YouTuber. I get piss shy. Anywho, shall we continue? You okay there, Trace?
just going around. I don't get performance anxiety. I get piss shy. Anyway, what's next? That's the last one, I think.
Last one is not going to be as fun, but yes, this is for sure the last one. You ready for it?
Yes.
Cheating ChatGPT lied its way through the I am not a robot test. Apparently AI is now passing CAPTCHAs, and I don't know how to feel about that. That makes me uncomfortable.
There is so much about AI, and like, I'm not an AI purist. I feel like there's parts of me that disagree with a lot of my friends on this, and I get that. I think there are some really good applications of AI that are being dismissed.
True.
for right reasons. Like, it is something that's scary right now. We are worried about its creative theft and like the lies that it makes up. Like, there was a court case, I think, this year where a lawyer tried to use ChatGPT to write his argument.
It did not go well.
And made up court cases for him to use.
I remember that, yeah.
And the case got thrown out. So like there are a lot of really big worries about AI that I completely understand. This is whatever. Like, CAPTCHA was created so that we could identify lines of text. So
yeah,
maybe this will make those types of jobs easier, and we'll just have to get a different way of identifying you as not a robot. Like, oh well.
That is true. That is absolutely true. But I also agree with you in that I share a more open stance to AI than most. Still highly against the thievery that it has. I mean, AI at this point in time is entirely plagiarism because it's pulling from material that people could not afford to effectively copyright, but they should, in essence, own. It's taking without consent, and that's the big thing. Like that is that if AI can be ethically trained on material, then I see nothing wrong with it. Like if you're training AI on, say, like making a neural net where like you tell it these are the constraints of something and you tell it to do a specific task and it just repeats that task until it gets good at that task. That's a good use of AI, like training AI to play Mario Kart or something. Or in the case of artistic liberties, if you for sure own everything that you're feeding it and training it off of, hell yeah, that's a great way for it to come up with new ideas for you, for you to visualize an idea and then be able to recreate it on your own, or like use it as a basis. But if we're gonna have it, in my opinion, if AI is pulling from a public database, just like all the artists on Fur Affinity or all the tweets on Twitter or something like that, then every profit, everything that the AI earns in terms of money needs to be evenly dispersed among everyone that in that training pool. Yeah. And I agree. Like, AI technology like this should be communist in nature, because there's no other way to make it fair. There's no other way to make it legal. And you're right. That's not what's happening. People are just blatantly stealing for free. And I feel like that's the biggest thing. You know, I feel like if that were okay, like, we should be fine with AI. Yeah, well, because like I think about it as the utility as a writer. Like, I would love to have a service that I can go to and be like, hey, you know, come up with like headlines for this story, and I paste in my story and I can give you headlines. But I'm worried, like, what headlines is it copying from? Am I like exactly? And then, I understand. Yeah, so like there's a worry there that is getting data from places I don't want to get that from. And so, and like I think the example I gave is a little bit better because it's usually most of my stuff that I've pasted into it to try to come up with something. But like exactly, like there's just worries, and I get that, and it's And I've used ChatGPT in particular in the past, both for like my YouTube content a little bit, as well as to get me my job. ChatGPT wrote my cover letter. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I gave it a basis because I had an old cover letter that worked pretty well for the new job, and I'm like, hey, can you refine this? And it pulled from the list of other cover letters. And thankfully, cover letters are not things that people care about. I would have been allowed to just steal. No one's gonna care if I plagiarize a cover letter. That's perfectly fine. Like, most people steal their cover letters anyway. Yeah, exactly. That's how this works. But like in terms of whenever I've asked it for like titles for a YouTube video, I explain what the idea is, and you can tell every single one of the titles that's pulling from is coming from videos that are more academic in nature. Because you get or coming from academic articles, because you always get like a short title : long title, and that is always what ChatGPT is going to give you, because you know exactly that database that's stealing from. Thankfully, though, now a lot of there are more publicly accessible language models where you can plug in your own data. So I've started, if every time that I'm needing something like that, I can plug in my own titles that I've used in the past and have that come up with a good idea. But then it's not as good. It's not as clickbaity as it could be. It's not SEO optimized because it's pulling just from my experience SEO optimizing and not the SEO of other creators. So if we had a YouTube specific AI model that could pull from the titles of the highest earning like like highest earning YouTubers and say, hey, pay me like $1 to generate a title for your thing, and then that dollar gets dispersed among everyone in that training list. That would be useful. That would be effective. I think that's wise. But right now it's free.
Yeah.
Or the AI is paid for, and it's just whoever built the AI is making that money, and not whoever they trained it on, and that's bullshit.
It's bullshit.
Anywho, yeah, sorry, that's AI's passive
we
capture,
love
that's
schlong.
Honestly, 2023 really was the year of AI being fucking weird, wasn't it? Ugh.
Yeah, AI exploded in 2023.
It really
and we are still picking up the pieces of that explosion. Like the CEO at our company is constantly talking about ChatGPT because she comes from the tech sector. So like she doesn't understand how journalists are obviously cautious about it because it's stealing work from other journalists. And we're like, we don't want that to happen to our work.
No.
And it like we are cautious about it because we are on the creative side, but since she's on the business side, she's like, oh, it can make you guys faster. It can, like all this optimization shit. And like, I get it. Like I want to be able to use it to make me faster, to come up with ideas quicker.
Yeah.
But
is it worth it?
It's just not worth it right now. Like,
exactly.
I'm going to be using it to learn how to do it and learn how to integrate it in the most ethical way I can right now, because I can see in the future it being a requirement to know how to use in my job career, my field.
Yes, your field is going to be changing significantly soon. Primarily due to AI, and that makes me a little uncomfortable.
Yep. So, well, I'm going to go measure my schlonger and
from balls to tip, right?
Yeah, give it to the Danish government and see what they think about it. I feel like that's a good use of my time.
Best of luck, Trace. I hope your schlong's long.
Thank you. When is Christmas compared to this video?
This video is the week before Christmas, so Christmas is the Monday after this video comes out. So Merry Christmas to anyone listening.
Merry Christmas to all who celebrate. Merry Yuletide.
Yuletide's still Christmas, isn't it?
No, it's not. But like,
make the Yuletide gay.
Make the Yuletide gay! And also, I hope you all had a fantastic Hanukkah, if you celebrate that. What are other ones that haven't happened yet?
I don't know. I don't have a list of
happy holiday season. Yeah, there's a lot of them. That's why we call it Happy Holidays. Because we're liberals.
And
we hate Christmas.
We are Starbucks. Fuck Christmas. I'm kidding.
Fuck Christmas.
I'm kidding.
Now I'm gonna go put up my all seasons tree.
I hate that. Why would you call it that?
I don't know.
That's bad. Bye.